My name is Michael Miller, and in this video, I'm going to be going over just how I made this super cool, fully articulated B2 Super Battle Droid from the new game Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this was for a contest from Myminifactory, and the prize was a $7,000 SLS printer. So I knew I had to make something crazy, and this guy is really complicated and really tough to do. This actually took me around 70 hours to make fully articulated, which I'll show you later in the video. But if you want to see exactly how I made this and the process it took, just stick around and I'll show you exactly how I did it. Now, let's get into it.
Alright, so before I start any project like this B2 Droid, I like to go and get as many reference pictures as I possibly can. So, I go to the movie, I find a bunch of screen grabs there, even like the bottom of the shoe, and toys are also very useful. So going to YouTube and finding people doing reviews on the toy is very useful for finding different angles and details and proportions, stuff like that. And then having like a good side view is very important. Side view and front view, top view if you can. So moving on, the big thing I really want to stress with this model is just how ridiculous this was to model. It took so long. It's like 70 hours of work because this model is like all surfaces. It's all organic stuff, and in Solidworks that's very difficult to do that. It takes a long time, but you're left with really nice surfaces if you do it well. So this is like just to show you what one surface takes to make. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sketches, all on different planes. And then I have this guide curve here, and once I have that, I'm moving points around until it's like perfect. And then when I add all these other stuff, this line where the surfaces meet might not be perfectly curved, or it's wobbly or whatever, so you have to move a lot of stuff around and you have to do a lot of small edits, and it's just very time consuming. And stuff like this, small little cuts and making all the parts go into like this circle and making it look like the original design, and all of these little details, and not really knowing what the bottom of the leg looks like. It just, all of that just takes so long. So I just really want to stress that. And here's kind of my feature manager tree in comparison to like this Kellogg's pistol, which is this small. So yeah, I just want to show you that. So now I want to show you the articulation of the model. So it has shoulder, elbow, hip, knee, and shoe or foot articulation. So here you can see when I move the hip, ooh, you got like a kicking motion, pop. So you got that, you got the knee that moves, you can see that. And then you can see the foot articulation, so you can see that moves back and forth, and you can kind of see the pin right there. It's a hidden pin. This is a fake one because I tried like 3 different ways to try and make this work, because it's such a small area and it's such a weird design. Trying to make this work in the real world is very difficult, but that's kind of how that works. And then you have the arm articulation, which I'll just show you now. Bend the elbow, bring that up, and then just play around with that. And then the shoulders, I designed it to have ball joints, so you can actually have a little bit more movement in that area, so you can, you know, kind of make him aim differently or just pose his arms differently. And then you have yeah, that's basically it. And then you have the, you know, the elbow. And the way those works is it's basically just a pin here, and then, you know, it's kind of sandwiched between those two parts, and then these two rotate around the pin. And this all works because with the SLS printer, you don't have to worry about you know, support material, so that all prints in one piece, which is super nice. So that's kind of how that works for the knees also, and then for the hips it's like that, and then obviously the ball joints are just, you know, regular ball joints like that. Yeah, so you compose it however you want. Very cool. You pretty much have full range. Whoa. You know, pose them however you like. Make them do some interesting stuff. Like I made some poses here to show you real quick. Like that's him aiming, and then you have happy jumping for joy, and then there's, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna get you. So, you know, there's a lot of things you can do. You're gonna have him sitting down if you want to, and, you know, with these types of articulations, you can just pose them however you like. And it was a huge challenge to do that, on top of just modeling the thing to look, you know, as good as it does. But, you know, at the size it's at, it should be good. So there's that. Now I'll move on to the actual 3D printed model.
So here are the 3D printed models. I did 3 different versions. Well, not versions, but I did 3 different separate prints, and there were obviously some that were not as successful. So I'll go into the most successful one I had on my printer. So that's this guy. As you can see, he has movable shoulders. So you can see kind of the ball joint working there. So, you know, you can aim him, put him up like that. Ooh. And he also has movable knees. So you can move the knees, and you can also move the hips. It's pretty tight though on this, because there's still some like support material lodged in there. Plus it was done, you know, on an FDM printer. So with the Sinterit SLS printer, that would just be really smooth. You wouldn't have to worry about, you know, support material, which is super nice. So the thing that didn't work with this is the feet and the arms. They're the elbows. So these are kind of, they're stuck, you know. They fused together, and you can see they came out pretty rough. That's not going to happen with SLS. And then with the feet, you know, you can see they're supposed to move up and down. You can kind of see what's attached there. So again, kind of got fused. But with SLS, you don't have to worry about that. No supports, comes out super clean. And also the details came out, you know, pretty rough. Like the gun, you can kind of see the gun there, and the torso. There's parts of the torso that you can't, you know, the lines are hard to see, and there's just a lot of rough areas, you know, there. a lot of places. Came out, I'm actually surprised at how well it came out for an FDM printer, but the Sinterit SLS printer would be able to handle this no problem. These other ones, this was the first version with the just basically the shoulder and the hip, or the what's it called? Yeah, the hips. But these didn't really print well, so I had to glue them. And then, so yeah, that came out pretty good. But not much articulation with that. And then with this, the arms broke off because I was trying to move them. And they just broke. But you can see that, they would work. They just broke off because they fused together. And then also the feet broke off and I had to glue them. You can see everything else works. This is actually about to break, as you can see. It's almost about to break. But that's pretty much all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed watching the process, and I hope you learned a thing or two. This was a really fun project for me. It did take 70 hours to do, but I think it was well worth the process. I'm actually going to be printing much bigger versions of this, so look out for that on Myminifactory. And thanks for watching. Bye.